Hey everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series Nails in a Coffin, where we learned that with great kills, there must also come great nails. When this video goes up, we just have 10 days left until Halloween. Well, real quick, you're probably asking what happened to my face. Well, right after I stopped recording last week's episode, Michael attacked me, and I don't know how I didn't notice him in my house, and because of that, if he killed me, I probably would have received one nail in the coffin. I said if he killed me. So that's why I have all these cuts on my face, and I won't bore you with the details on what exactly happened between us. So here's a summary on the average nails in a coffin for all the Halloween movies I've covered so far. Starting a new timeline this week with 2018's Halloween, which is a direct sequel to the original Halloween from 1978. In this timeline, Michael and Laurie are not brother and sister. Michael was arrested and taken into custody after Dr. Loomis shot him and he fell off the balcony. He's been held at Smith Road Sanitarium for the past 40 years, and we have two true crime podcasters who want to interview Michael and Laurie since it's been 40 years since those events. Somehow they were able to obtain Michael's original mask, and they have it at the sanitarium, and they're trying to get Michael to acknowledge them and say something, and this is a pretty cool scene and way to start the movie off, and another way to introduce the title card and an update on John Carpenter's classic theme.
Say something. Say something, Michael. Say something!
The first on-screen kill happens just about half an hour into the movie. Michael Myers was being transferred on Halloween for some reason, and we see that Laurie was sitting in a car outside a sanitarium, and she was drinking and had a gun on her. She wanted to, end Michael once and for all. Well, the bus carrying Michael and the other patients crashed, and now there are escaped patients of the sanitarium all over the road. Another callback to the original Halloween. Kevin and his dad are returning from a hunting trip. Kevin was kind of upset since he missed dance class, and he wasn't really a fan of missing his class. They see the bus crash and of all the escaped patients all over the road. His dad gets out of the car to see if he can help anybody, and he leaves Kevin alone in the car. A few minutes later, Kevin gets worried, so he goes looking for his dad. He finds a cop who's been mortally wounded on the side of the road. The cop tells him to run. Kevin goes to check the bus, and he's startled when Dr. Sartain pops up, and Kevin accidentally shoots him in the shoulder. This freaks Kevin out, and he runs back to the car, and he tries to start it so he can go drive away. Well, unfortunately for Kevin, Michael was in the back seat. He grabs Kevin and bashes his head against the window till it breaks his neck, and he dies. Kevin was just a scared kid who'd rather had been at dance class, and I'm going to award him 2 nails in a coffin. Taking into account his age, he was wrong by shooting Dr. Sartain, but I would put that at the fault of his dad not properly training him. He was a scared kid, but he still kind of showed courage when trying to go find his pops. And, maybe he thought Dr. Sartain was an escaped patient and he just got scared. So I'm not really going to fault this kid. He did what he could, and pretty much he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So Kevin, I'm going to award you with 2 nails in the coffin. After the bus crash and Michael's escape, he finds his way to a service station. The two podcasters, Aaron and Dana, just so happen to be there. Dana is in the restroom using one of the toilets, and Aaron is walking around the gas station, and he finds 2 bodies. The clerk, who had his jaws savagely destroyed, and a mechanic. Michael stole the mechanic's coveralls and boots, just like he did in the original Halloween. And then we do see a quick glimpse of the mechanic getting beaten in the background, but not enough to rate either of these 2 deaths. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Dana is in the restroom in one of the stalls. Michael walks in and he checks the doors, and when he gets to Dana's stall, he tries to open it. Dana gets upset, saying, "Hey, there's somebody in here." He then holds his hand over the top of the stall and drops down a handful of teeth from the clerk, who no longer has a jaw, and Dana starts to scream for Aaron. Aaron enters the bathroom with the crowbar. He sees Michael standing there. He swings at it, hits Michael once in the head, but it's not going to have any effect on him. So Michael grabs Aaron and he beats him to death while bashing his head against the wall, against the stall doors. Michael is done with Aaron and he throws him into the corner where Aaron dies. Michael then enters the stall where Dana is. He grabs her around the throat, lifts her up, chokes her to death, and snaps her neck. The podcaster Aaron, I'm going to award him with 3 nails in a coffin. He heard his girlfriend screaming for help, and he already found 2 dead bodies, and he probably put together that this was Michael Myers. So he goes into the ladies' room with the crowbar. He saw Michael, didn't hesitate for a second to hit him in the head, but this is Michael Myers, so it had no effect on stopping him or, even slowing him down. Aaron was overpowered and beaten to death, but he wanted to save his girlfriend, and that, to me, that takes a lot of courage. And this was just more than a 2 nail in the coffin death. So he tried, and in this franchise, that goes a long way. So Aaron, I awarded him with 3 nails in the coffin. Dana, she earned herself 1 nail in the coffin. Initially, I was going to give her 2, but after watching this segment a few times and evaluating, I think she had time and the opportunity to at least try and get out of the restroom while Michael was busy with Aaron. At least she should have tried something, and she really just kind of cowered in the corner, and I can't give her more than 1 nail in the coffin for that. Really can't give her 2 nails. So, sorry, Dana, I'm going to award you with 1 nail in the coffin. After Michael's finished with Aaron and Dana, he goes to the trunk of that car and retrieves his mask and puts it on. It's a real short segment, but it's my favorite part of the movie, watching Michael get his mask and putting it back on. Next kill is another really fun segment in this movie. It's now nighttime, and Michael is walking around downtown Haddonfield while kids are trick-or-treating. It's a very well done tracking shot here that goes on for a few minutes. Michael goes into a shed and he picks up a hammer, and then he goes into Mrs. Panchella's kitchen, bludgeons her with the hammer. This kill is off screen, so I'm not going to be able to give it any nail ratings. After he kills her, he takes a knife that she was using to make a sandwich. This was another callback to Halloween 2. The tracking shot follows Michael as he slowly walks next door, passing right by people. He walks up Andrea's porch and looks in through the window. Before Andrea can see him, he walks away and goes down the side of her house. She's looking out the window. Michael walked up behind her, grabbed her by the hair, slams her head down on the back of the couch. She screams, but before anything else can happen, he takes a knife, stabs her through the back of her neck, going out through her throat, killing her. Andrea had no clue Michael was in her house, so I'm going to give her 2 nails in a coffin. She was just minding her business while at home. She was on the phone with a friend who was telling her about killings nearby, and Andrea even commented, "Hey, I'll keep my doors locked." It was too little, too late, and again, this scene was directly taken from Halloween 2. She gets off the phone, closes the blinds, and she was about to go lock her doors, but like I said, too little, too late for her. Michael killed her from behind. She had no time to react or really do anything, so Andrea, I'm awarding her 2 nails in the coffin. Allison's friend, Vicky, who's babysitting Julian, she dies next. Julian's an awesome kid, by the way. She said she puts him to bed, and Vicky's boyfriend comes over so they can make Halloween a special occasion. Vicky and Dave are lying on the couch making out, and Julian runs halfway down the stairs, yelling that somebody is in the hallway standing outside his door. Vicky gets Julian back in the bed when Dave goes out to check out the motorcycle in the garage. Vicky says goodnight to Julian, and she goes to close the closet door. It won't shut. Something's blocking it. She opens the door, sees Michael, and he slashes her with his knife, and Julian takes off running. He was able to hit her in the shoulder, but Vicky picks up a chair and hits Michael with it, and she tries to run out of the room, but she slips on the floor. Michael dragged her back in her room while she's kicking and screaming, telling Julian to get the hell out of there. Michael drags her back into the room, stabs her in the back a few times, killing her. Babysitter Vicky, I'm going to give her 3 nails in a coffin. After Michael slashed her in the shoulder, she picked up a chair and hit him with it. She told Julian to run, so she wasn't just thinking about herself. Yeah, she slept on the floor, but that really wasn't due to a poor decision. She was wearing socks inside the house and tried to run away when somebody was trying to kill her. That really wasn't a stupid decision. That was just the writing of the movie. That wasn't a bad decision that she made. Slipping is not a poor decision, and that's the only thing that probably led to her getting killed, and I really can't fault her for that. She tried to fight. She hit him with a chair, which says a lot in these Michael Myers movies. So, Vicky, your death was an easy one for me. You're going to get a solid 3 nails in the coffin. After Mike kills Vicky, we see Dave grab a knife, and he says, "F this," and he goes upstairs to help his girlfriend. He was a little bit too little, too late, and we never see him being killed. Officer Hawkins, a little while later, arrives at the house to go investigate, since he was responding to the distress call. He enters the house, he goes up into Julian's room, and he finds Vicky's body under a ghost sheet, another callback to the original Halloween. He then goes downstairs and finds Dave pinned to the wall, just like Bob Sims's death in the original Halloween and in the remake as well. Oscar is next to die by the hands of Michael. He was walking home with Allison. She was upset since she caught her boyfriend Cameron kissing another girl at a Halloween party. Yeah, he's a moron. Oscar decides this was a good time to make a pass at Allison, and he tries to kiss her. Allison's not playing this game, so she gets pissed at him and walks away, telling Oscar, hey, figure your own stuff out. And they were in the middle of Mr. Elrod's yard. They were crossing through, while they were walking home. Oscar noticed Michael Myers standing in the dark, but he just assumed it was Mr. Elrod. And the motion detector lights are going off and on. They go off, and then they go on again, and then Michael Myers is a little bit closer to Oscar. Oscar's kind of getting freaked out because he's thinking maybe this isn't Mr. Elrod because the person's not responding. They go off again, and when they come back on, Michael's standing right in front of Oscar. He's able to slash at him and stab him. Oscar takes off running. He's calling Allison for help, but Allison just thinks he's playing games. Oscar is trying to climb over this fence, but his cape gets caught on his costume. Michael catches up to him, stabs him in the back, killing him. And when he stabs him in the back, Oscar kind of fell down on the top of the fence post and then impaled through his jaw in a brutal, brutal kill. Oscar, he was rejected by Allison, and that really must have been embarrassing, but it's also embarrassing because I'm going to give him one nail in the coffin. He kind of looked freaked out when this shape was closer to him, even though he thought it was Mr. Elrod, but he was still not moving. He was just kind of standing there. He was acting kind of freaked out and concerned, but he was just standing there, like not still getting out of the Mr. Elrod's yard like he said he was going to do. He just kind of stood there. And yeah, he took off running as soon as Michael Myers slashed at him. But for him, it was, too little, too late. Once his cape got caught, he kind of just kept pulling it. He should have realized it wasn't working. He could have tried something else. He had an ample opportunity to at least try and get away. He was just screaming for help. The closer Michael Myers got to him, he didn't try anything else. So, yeah, it was embarrassing to get rejected like Allison like that. And sorry, Oscar, it's embarrassing. Like I said, I'm only going to give you one nail in the coffin. The new Dr. Loomis, Dr. Sartain, is next to die. He was Dr. Loomis's student, and he oversaw the care of Michael Myers. Sheriff Harkins and Dr. Sartain were in his patrol car with Allison in the back seat. They picked her up after Oscar was killed. They see Michael on the sidewalk, and Sheriff Hawkins plows into him, knocking him out. Dr. Sartain is checking on the body, not listening to Sheriff Hawkins because Sheriff Hawkins wants to kill Michael Myers. The doctor takes his pen out, which has a hidden knife in it, and when Sheriff Hawkins approaches, the doctor stabs Sheriff Hawkins in the neck. He then puts Michael Myers' mask on for a minute and puts Michael's body in the back seat with Allison. Later on, Allison convinces Dr. Sartain to stop the car, saying Michael did, in fact, say something to her. And I guess this is what Dr. Sartain really wants in life, is to hear Michael Myers say something. Michael wakes up, kicks the back seat all the way forward, crushing Dr. Sartain. He then gets out of the car, drags the doctor's body out of the car. He's standing over him. Dr. Sartain looks up at him and says, say something. But instead of saying anything, Michael stomps the doctor on the head, crushing his head like a watermelon. Dr. Sartain wanted Michael to say something, but he didn't. I'll say something to Dr. Sartain. You're getting one nail in the coffin. This psychopath orchestrated the bus accident, allowing Michael Myers to escape, and he was a moron, and he tried to kill Sheriff Hawkins just so Michael could be free, because he wanted to reunite Michael with Laurie just so he can see what would happen and see if Michael Myers would actually say something. He endangered the life of a teenager, put Michael in the back seat with Allison, and for reasons I guess he assumed Michael wouldn't hurt her. I don't know. It was a stupid decision. He had a litany of stupid decisions, assuming Michael would just, go along with it. Like, Michael never trusted anybody. Michael woke up, crushed the doctor in the front seat, and then squished his head, deservedly so. So Dr. Stupid is easily going to get one nail in the coffin. Michael is making his way to Laurie's house, and he kills two police officers, Richards and Francis. Their deaths are off screen, and we don't even see any of the interaction between Michael and the cops. Allison's dad, Ray, finds their bodies in the car. He was with Karen and Laurie at Laurie's house. Ray was outside when he went up to the patrol car to talk to the cops. He opens the door. He sees they're dead. One had their face cut like a jack-o'-lantern. And like I said, these kills were off screen, so no nails in the coffin for them. But after Ray finds the bodies, he was kind of backing up in shock and not looking behind him. Michael Myers was right behind him, grabs him, and he strangled Ray to death with a chain. This was the last death in the movie, and Ray earned himself one nail in the coffin. First off, he was outside when he knew there was a maniac on the way there to probably kill everybody, and he chose a small caliber gun for protection. Once he saw the bodies, he just kind of stared at it for way too long before he decided to do anything, and by then it was too late. He was being strangled. He acted like there was no semblance of danger at all around him. Even after he saw the two dead bodies, he was just kind of staring at them, realizing, hey, what should I do next? He never should have been outside with, a maniac on the way there to kill people, especially with a little pea-shooter revolver that he had. So, the final death in Halloween 2018, Ray gets one nail in the coffin. We're at the finale of the movie now. Michael was able to get in the house and he has a fight with Laurie, and this battle has more callbacks to the original Halloween, but with the roles reversed. Laurie even falls off the roof and Michael's looking at the body, turns away for a second, and then, Laurie's body is missing. Michael goes into the kitchen. Karen and Allison are in the basement hideaway, and Michael is ripping the island that covers the entrance to this hideaway. Karen has a gun pointed up after Michael rips the island off, and she's feigning she can't do it. Come help us. Well, this was all a ruse, because as soon as Michael steps in the top of the entrance, Karen shoots him in the shoulder. Laurie appears out of the shadows, stabs Michael, and the ensuing altercation between them, Michael is knocked down into the basement. Allison gets up, and Karen is trying to get out of the basement herself. Michael grabs her leg, and he's trying to pull her back down. Allison grabs a knife. She stabs at Michael. They get Allison up. Michael falls down into the basement. Karen sets the trap, and Michael is trapped down there. Laurie turns on multiple gas lines, tosses a flare down into the basement, and the house is set ablaze, and all three women exit the house, leaving Michael in the basement with the whole entire house on fire. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my nails in a coffin for Halloween 2018. Here's a summary of all the nails I've awarded. Here's a look at the average nails in a coffin for the first 11 movies in the Halloween franchise. Thanks again for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys here next week when I put Nails in a Coffin on Halloween Kills. And I think that movie may have the lowest average Nails in a Coffin. Now, I haven't seen that movie since it came out last year, and I haven't evaluated those kills yet, but I'm going to take a strong guess that that movie's going to have the lowest average Nails in a Coffin, but we'll have to wait next week to find out.
Evil dies tonight!
That's one of the reasons that movie's going to have the lowest average. But, yeah, my face is still hurting, so hopefully next week I can avoid Michael, and maybe it's going to be one final conflict, but got some good pain meds for now, so I'll see you guys all here next week. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.